Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. And in this video, we are going to continue making the user interface. In the last video, we have made relationships and we have made one form called categories. So this video will also be focused on creating the user interface, perhaps making another form for users, and maybe one more small form. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate. But before I begin demonstrating, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. In any case, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do. Hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Right. Now, let's begin with the user interface. Because we have created this form last time, that means we have set the design language, the color scheme. So it should be fairly quickly for us to actually replicate the same and create a new form. So I'm going to straight away copy this form. We're going to create users form, by the way. I'm going to copy the categories form, copy it, paste right here, and then let's give a name. So I'll say users F, okay? So users form. So right click, design view, let's remove these and let's go to the save button. And we will do something, we will keep that, we'll remove all of the code, okay? Because we are going to use the same buttons for the users as well. We want to save the users data, we want to update the users data. So rather than deleting these buttons and I will add those buttons right away, not required. I just remove the code so we can write a code from the scratch. Right, so let's bind this form with the data. So we'll go to the data tab and we'll choose the record source users. And now we're going to fetch the fields and we're going to bring it onto the surface of form. Okay, there you go. You can do that by selecting all, but it's your preference. So I'll select all, right click, we'll stack them. We'll go to home tab, we'll make the font color full black, and we're going to change the font from Aptos to perhaps Calibri. All right, great. Now we'll select all the labels. We'll expand that. We'll make it bold and let's give a little bit of spacing. All right, and the full name, let's, so I'm doing this formatting. This is very important. We'll have username, password, the role that will be assigned. This is a lookup wizard, so it should give us some values in the drop down. We'll later see that. And let's select all of these again. We'll go to arrange and we'll make it narrow. And we'll go to the form design, property sheet. We'll go to format and we're going to increase the height a little bit. So let's say we're going to increase to 0.7 centimeters and we're going to make top margin not 0.5. Right, maybe we can make it a little bit more. All right, there you go. Okay, so we'll expand this, make it a little bigger, and let's centralize this. Okay, great. So user ID and status, they are not going to be used, meaning the manual input is not required in these two fields. So perhaps we should make these fields non-editable. But before I do that, as you know, I like to make uh, the non-binding form, that are the forms that are not linked to any data. And to do that, I'm going to get rid of the record source. Okay, and I'm going to remove these. So we'll make these form unbound. Okay, so one by one I'm selecting all of these fields and I'm making these as unbound. All right, once I'm done with that, I'll choose status user and then enable no, locked yes. We'll go to format, shape fill, and we'll select the color. All right, background color. Awesome. Once this is done, we can go to the form view, just have a look at the form view. All right, awesome. We're going to remove this because this option gives this ability to user to add. Now, if you are running this application only for your grocery shop or business, sure, you can keep it. But if other users are using this application, then I would suggest that you turn off this. So this is not required. Edit item list is not required. You keep that option with you. And we're going to change the name or the caption of the form as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do these changes. So instead of product categories, we will say users. All right, and we'll select the role and we'll go to the data tab, limit to list, yes. Allow value list edits, no. So you select that. So you're going to turn off that feature. All right. So as you can see that because the form was already there and the color scheme, the design schema, and everything was there, so it became easier for me to quickly uh, make this form as a bound form, bring the fields, and then make the form unbound again. Now, what is left is basically the code that we have to write behind save and update button. And again, we are going to use VBA and we are going to use record sets particularly. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to first select save button. We'll go to the event tab, dot, dot, dot. And here we are. In here, I'm going to write a couple of lines of code because I want to have this option of checking if the record is null. If any of these record null, we want to give a error. Especially, I want the name and role. These two fields at least must be provided. Username and password, you can leave it as an optional, but I think name and role are must required. So let's put that those two lines of code, or not two lines, two blocks of codes. So we'll say if nz me dot full name equals null, uh, then do cmd dot beep message box, and I'll say please provide the name of the user, right? And we'll say comma, and we'll say VB critical, and the header of the message box would be information. And we can actually go to further extent. We can highlight this text box after this message, right? So we'll say me dot, no, sorry, me dot full name, sorry, dot set focus. There you go. So rather than writing all of the code again, I'm going to select it and I'm going to say else if. And the other one, as you know, as I said, we'll choose role of the user. Okay. And then in here, role dot set focus. Else, and let's close this also with end if, so we don't forget at the end. Now, if that's not true, meaning the information is provided, then go ahead and save the information. Okay. So I'm going to right click on the users table and we'll go to design view, makes things easier for us. So in here, in order to transport the information from this form, these text boxes or the combo boxes, for us to transport the information, we will use the record sets and we will move the information from here to this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use record set. We'll declare variable. We'll say dim rs as a record set, and we'll then set rs equals, and we'll say current db, all right, dot open record set, parenthesis open, parenthesis close, double quote, and we will give the name of the record sets. That's simply a table name, users t. Okay, users t. And because we are adding the records, we'll say db open dynaset. There you go. Okay, so that's perfect. Once that is done, now we can come here after the if, after the else code, and we'll say, okay, we want you to add a record. So rs dot add new, and then once you have added, we want to update the record as well. And then we can say rs exclamation mark and full name equal me dot full name. All right. Then rs exclamation mark username. So I'm going to copy this for a couple of times so we don't have to keep typing. Me dot username. Okay, password. So password and password, role and role. And then we have the status. Now we want to make status as me dot status. So status would be me dot status equal, and we'll call it active, right? So we have active user. So once that is done, we'll also fetch the, after we have updated, we'll fetch the latest saved user ID and we'll populate on the user ID text box. So after this, after the updating, what we'll do is we'll say me dot user ID equal dmax, oops, parenthesis open, parenthesis close, and we'll say, what are we looking for? We're looking for user ID. Yeah, from where we are looking for? We're looking for user ID from the users table. Okay, that's it. Once that is done, I mean, we can do this in this way, or and then we can provide a message box. So we'll say do cmd.beep message box, the user, and actually you can give a name of the user, right? You can be a little bit more fancy. Me dot full name has been created successfully. All right, comma, and we be information, because this is a success, and the header would also be information. And that's about it. I mean, oh, don't forget, we have to, once we are done with all of this, we have to actually close it. So we'll say rs dot close, and we'll say set rs equal nothing. So that's very important. Please don't forget this. So let's do debug. Great. This has been success. I believe it would be success if we'll test it. We'll see later on. Now let's close this. And now we will do, we'll write a VB code behind this update button. And to do that, we'll go to the dot 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 and kind of follow this similar pattern, but the code would be a little bit different. What is the difference? I will show you. I will actually demonstrate. But first, let's copy this first block of code, because to update, what we need a unique ID of the user, right? Because we every record has a unique ID, so we'll need user ID in order to search the user ID record from the database. So that's why we need. So therefore, if we are creating that code block, we have to write a code that first look for user ID. If this field is empty, throw an error and say, I can't do any update without this information. That's what it means. I'm copy and pasting here. So instead of full name, I'm going to say user ID. Please provide the user ID to update the records. Yeah, we can't set this focus because this is a non-editable field, so its focus cannot be set here. Anyway, now we will go ahead and we will write a else and end if. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is we kind of need to do the same thing that we have done to create a record. However, there's going to be, of course, a little bit difference. But we will create, we will declare a record set. We'll declare a variable, sorry, and then we will go ahead and update the record. So we'll say dim rs update as record set, and we'll say set rs update equal current db dot open record set parenthesis open parenthesis close, and we'll give a name of, actually I'm going to copy the same what I've written here to avoid any mistake. There we go. All right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to after the else, right? Here the difference is we will actually try to look for the record. So we'll come to the table, all right? We'll come to the table and we'll look for the record which the user is trying to modify. And for us, the unique ID is user ID. That's why we are going to refer to this even here. So we'll say rs update dot find first. Okay. And what are we trying to find is user ID equal ampersand me dot user ID. Okay. And then after that, once we will point to that user ID, we will now can go ahead and say rs update dot edit and rs update dot update. Okay. And then quickly we'll say rs update dot close set rs update equal nothing. I like to do this right away because what I've seen, we have a tendency of forgetting these little things, and these things will cause error later on. Now we'll go ahead and what we are going to do is we are going to copy the same fields. It will save yours and my time. We'll copy the same and we'll paste in here. The only thing we need to do is we need to change the rs to rs update. That's the change we need to make. All right, there we go. Okay, we'll give a message box. So we'll say do cmd dot beep message box, and we'll say the selected user's record has been updated. All right, you can customize it based on your liking, and we'll say because it's a success, so we'll say vb information comma, and in here also we'll say information. Once that is done, I think that's pretty much it. Let's do a debug. There's no error, it seems, right now. Now, better way is we go and test it, right? So let's close the form and the table. Right now, we'll bring the table here so we can see a record updating. And then, or maybe we'll close it. We'll go open the form. We'll say, okay, the first user I'm going to type in, Robert Downey Jr. And username would be Iron Man, let's say. Password would be RDJ. And the role would be, let's say, manager. So let's click on save. And Robert Downey Jr. is successfully created. We'll go to the design view. And in here, we can see the record. Let's create another user. Let's say Peter Parker, right? Okay. And then we'll say username will be Peter, password will be Parker. Just saying. Oh, okay. And role would be cashier. And we'll save it. The record is created. We'll go to design view. We'll go to user and we have the Robert Downey Jr. and Peter Parker. Now let's do some change in the Peter Parker record. And we'll say instead of Parker password, we'll say Parker12 and we'll do the update. And if we'll come here, we should have this update made successfully. So I think I know I mentioned I will try doing two forms, but I think that's enough. It's a lot of coding. Well, actually, not a lot of coding, but there's been coding that I've done, and I've shown you how to create record, update record in the table. This is the important bit, and it's going to be repetitive. And I encourage you that you also practice this repeatedly. Then you will become master in using the record sets, saving the data, updating the data, fetching the data also. So it's all learning. You might be thinking I'm showing you the kind of same thing that I've shown you in the previous video, but this is how you learn. It's a very repetitive work, and once you do that every single time you practice it, you become better and better. And that's the whole idea. I still write most of the code by hand. I don't copy and paste. I try avoiding it, but I do copy and paste a little bit, not the entire thing. So I hope that you've learned something in this video. I hope that you will practice it. I hope that you will make something and you will come to the video and under the comments you will write that you have made something. That will make me happy. So thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching, you are great. And thank you. And I will see you in the next one.